Welcome to Conference of the Movements 26 Virtual, com26v.com, to One Nation Gathering. We're celebrating Native American Heritage Month for November. It's a whole we're celebrating of that celebration. And today we will have a very special and honor to have a very special guest that Sherry will introduce. And I want to just explain what we're doing, and then after we can introduce the guest. To celebrate Native American Heritage Month and to fulfill Black Elk's, we are bringing together 1,000 Indigenous nations from around the world to create a new sovereign and independent federation of nations to protect Mother Earth with a General Assembly building like the United Nations. It will protect 80% of the Earth's biodiversity, 80% of the forest, and govern 25% of the Earth's land. Once we have fully formed, it'll represent 370 million to 600 million Indigenous people worldwide in a unified federation. Let me read a little bit about the vision of Black Elk. So that's what we're looking to fulfill. Black Elk saw that his people would lose heart from the ordeals that they would encounter, and that the sacred hoop of his nation would be broken. He saw that his people would suffer from famines, sickness, and wars. Black Elk also saw for the future of his people. After 7 generations had passed, there would be a reuniting of not only his own people, but all people, creating a new sacred hoop comprising of all nations of the earth. He saw a star rising in the east, and that would bring wisdom. At that time, Black Elk felt that meant there would be a great prophet from the east that would come to help the formation of the new sacred hoop. Thank you so much. Sherry is one of the 3 peacemakers with Mesfin Zaid. And Sherry, take it away.
Okay, hi. We are so honored to have the White Buffalo pipe keeper of our sacred bundle, Avrol Lookinghorse, with us here today. Well, actually, Avrol, I have so much respect for you and your work and your walk. And if you could just please introduce yourself and explain what that means, and for what you carry, and for the calling, and why you're here sharing with us today.
Yes, thank you. Let's start some words of prayer. Lawakantaka apetu kile lawashte lawaka wayate zanipikte. Tonache na ikhponki api, tonache wayaza kapi, tonache kaki japi no chonkix yapi. Nache makasi tamni watik na uzanipikte, nache makasi tamna na apetu kile na yoashte ni waka achwate na kuita pikte. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Blessings to all of you. Thank you. It's a great honor to be here on this day and the whole month, Native American Day, and I'm really honored for all of you to speak with all of you too. And I know that it's a lot of great challenges to be coming in our direction. So we always start with a little prayer, so that we are representing our sacred sites, our homeland, our people, because that language is very sacred to our spiritual way of life. And in our sacred language, there's really no foul language or no hurtful words. And I always talk about our spiritual way of life, because that the quote from Black Elk. He talked about the sacred hoop, and we've been riding on horseback all across our Dakota territory here in South Dakota, North Dakota, and different places, riding horseback, and up in Canada to ride up the Dakota route is up in Canada. A lot of our routes is up there in Canada. We rode together and it's called a unity ride. And today we're still riding on horseback. In fact, I heard that they're still are going to ride this December on that cool, and just the ride to Wounded Knee was a prophecy of our nation. We are the Lakota Nakota Oyate, or known as the Great Sioux Nation, that signed a treaty with the U.S. government. And back in the 1800s, our people were wiped out, massacres that happened. It's not only our people, but all the First Nations, Indigenous people here in Turtle Island. So when we rode to, back in the 80s, Virgil Kilstree had a dream, away humbly, had a dream to ride to Wounded Knee and do a ceremony in 1990. 100 years later, from 1890 to 1990. And that's what the Black Elk spoke about, that the sacred hoop of the nation was broken at Wounded Knee. So we pray that there would be no more Wounded Knees throughout the world. Because in our ceremonies, we knew that there's a lot of people are having dreams or visions about the future. And in our prophecy with the white buffalo calf, the sacred bundle that I take care of, all my life, I talked about the voice of our people, speak with the elders and from ceremony. And so I don't really work alone. I work with our spiritual people and from our ceremonies. So I still do that. But we are up against so much today. Like Sherry, you mentioned about the pipelines. And no, we're always in the front lines of progress here in the Dakota Territory. And the bitumen oil from Canada that they're bringing down the pipeline. We took a stand at Standing Rock and Maniwichoni, the Water of Life. And we are standing together in prayer because that's the only way it's going to unite us, all people, spiritual people of the world, all nations, to stand in prayer. So, I grew up in a ceremonial life, and our ways were outlawed till 1978, the Freedom of Religion Act. And I was one of the people that talked about the freedom of religion when I was very young. And basically all my life, we are always trying to take a stand on our freedom of religion and protecting our sacred sites, the Black Hills, which was taken away. And still thereafter, our Black Hills, the Chesapa, the Black Hills of South Dakota, the heart of Mother Earth. So all my life, as a Lakota speaker, spiritual person, all my life, we know all the rivers and the creeks and streams. In our traditional way, we have to always use that language in our ceremonies, that sacred water. But when we go outside our communities, our reservations, our ceremonial places, our sacred sites, then we are forced to recognize the maps, like Devil's Tower. Devil's Tower is a very sacred place for us, and all the tribes, they call it Mathotipila. Mathotipila is a very sacred place of worship, a place of prayer. It's a school, and for our people to go back and humble ourselves under the Creator to do a vision quest or do prayers there at a sacred site. And so we look at the whole Black Hills of South Dakota. Long time ago, there was no helicopters or satellites. But in our ceremonies, the whole Black Hills looks like a heart, shapes like a heart. And then you put a fluorescent light on it. Then from the satellite view, you look down, and then you fast forward in a slow motion, and it's a heart that is pumping. The 4 seasons that we do ceremonies. So we have to do the 4 seasons of ceremony in the heart of Mother Earth. And then, but no, we really have no, today, just recently we start to go back to the Black Hills because of freedom of religion. And in March 21st, we do a ceremony called Welcoming the Thunder Ceremony. And on March 21st, this ceremony is very crucial to our way of life and the environment and how we live. So it's very important to do this ceremony. And when the white buffalo calf was born in Janesville, Wisconsin, we made a statement. I made a statement saying that as a sacred bundle keeper, that we are at the crossroads, either be faced with a lot of chaos, disasters, different types of sicknesses, viruses. We're going to see earth changes and climate changes, volcanoes erupting. We're going to see a lot of anger, hatred, jealousy. And we're going to see no more honorable wars because everything is all about greed. And the sickness that shall come upon the people is coming fast. And it's going to affect all families. And that we see today. So just recently, I made a statement saying that we warned that someday you would not be able to control what you have created. And that day is here. Because today we're faced with that COVID. We're faced with a lot of sickness, a lot of anger, hatred. And these are all in our prophecies that was told in our ceremonies. So 1994, 1996, we start that World Peace and Prayer Day. And we sent that message out from the prophecy of the white buffalo calf, the sacred bundle I take care of. That white buffalo calf had black nose, black eyes, and black hooves. There's only one prophecy from our Buffalo Nation here in this Turtle Island. So that prophecy has now come to this Turtle Island. And we as Indigenous First Nations people, we still have our ceremonies. We still have our sacred fire, our ceremonies of the Minishoni, the water of life. And we just, like Standing Rock, we helped ask the women to take that, be a voice, because we have a lot of missing and murdered women. And as I speak to you today, you're still laying that pipeline down. And there's a lot of men and women, young people standing in the front lines right now, laying their life down, because that bitumen oil is very, very toxic. And I went to Canada and met the chiefs, sat in prayer with them, because where that is, where that they're making that bitumen oil, that all the families there are getting sick. And we went and we did prayers with them. A lot of kids are being born with swords, a lot of sickness. So it's very, very hard to see. Excuse me. It's really hard to see the sickness that has come upon our people, because, today we're supposed to be all about health, all about well-being. And yet, in our prophecy, it says that, when I spoke about we are at the crossroads, we're going to see false leaders and false prophets. So these are things that we are facing with as a traditional spiritual people. And like the Black Hills, it is a sacred site that Black Hills are never for sale. And I grew up that way. It's a sacred site. So I still stand with all the Indigenous people of the world, like the people in South Africa and Brazil. Their trees are being burnt or cut down. Well, it's like that in Canada too. All the trees are taken down. And like 1990, we prayed that there would be no more wounded knees. It's not only the people, but they're cutting all we know that there's, like in the Black Hills, they're cutting all the trees down. And this is the sickness is affecting us right now. Our bodies are being affected by the sickness that has been placed upon us. And we have to unite spiritually, because that's the only way that we're going to survive in this world. So there's a lot that to be shared by all the Indigenous people. and our sacred sites. But want to say that much for now, and then we can keep on talking, I guess. Oh,
Thank you so much for explaining and speaking the way that you can relate the message so well, and I really appreciate you for
oh.
that. Yes. Oh my goodness. David, did you want to touch on what was just shared with us?
Yes, I wanted to touch on it is because when we're talking about Indigenous peoples, it's from the four colors, four directions, includes a lot of people, general audience do not understand Indigenous people represent the different colors, the red, white, black, and yellow. So when we're saying Indigenous people uniting, it means all the Indigenous people from around the world in the different colors, the cultures, the languages, and everything, because we're all under threat. The traditional people that are under threat of basically the existing European-centric system, and that's and we honor that. That the the Great Sioux Nation or the Oceti Sakowin stood up, has been standing up since the arrival of the Europeans or the colonizers in the territory, and they have never given up that fight, and they continue to this day with the youth. But hopefully, one day when unification of all the indigenous come together, the fight will not. We don't need to fight anymore. There's an important thing that also Avrol said that the Oceti or Lakota, Nakota, Dakota people are poor. I don't believe they're poor because all those countries, it's a perception of mind. All those countries are billions or trillions of dollars in debt and going into more hole. Us indigenous people starting off at zero, we are more wealthy than all those countries combined. It's just that we have not been able to assert our sovereignty to create that wealth, prosperity, and abundance. So that's what I believe.
Very well said. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that, David. And I just want, while you were speaking, David, I was wondering what that call was that was coming in. And I just got a message that the reason that Mesfin is not here with us today, and Avrol, I look forward to you introducing you to Mesfin in the future. He's a beautiful soul from Ethiopia. I just want to send love to him. He just lost his brother, so I'm sending prayers and love out to Mesfin right now, and he is not able to be here with us. And on that note, it just shows you the level of impact, exactly what you were just speaking about right now, Avrol, and the impact that's happening on a global level right now, really,
Yeah.
and it just shows the importance of us really coming together during these times. And my heart also goes out to Ethiopia right now. They're in major conflict. And anyway, so just sending out love to Mesfin right now.
Yes, we send our love to Mesfin because myself, David Can, Cheryl Lewis, and Mesfin Zaid are the three peacemakers. We've given ourselves that name to bring peace on earth and peace for Mother Earth. And he couldn't be here because lost his brother. I feel very sad and sorry for that. And we send our condolences to Mesfin, his family, and all of the relatives that are impacted by the different diseases that are upon us right now.
Yes, thank you for that. And on that note, I'm just in stillness. I'm in prayer. Orville, something else that we've been talking about is the radiation that is going through our Indigenous nations. Is Avrol still with us?
Yes.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Interesting. I just started a petition because I literally just went through radiation poisoning, visiting our Nakota relatives in Montana.
Yes.
And it was, wow. And I had been looking at my relatives, and our relatives are the Neh relatives, and you see all the transformers that go through the land there and the impact that COVID was taking. And it, you have the uranium in the water as well with the radiation. But that's just another thing that is walking alongside this part of the devastation that, yes, man has created in that sense, is the level of radiation that we have going on right now, and hiding it under different things, saying it's for better education, or a way of growing, when actually it's impacting our humanity. So I believe that we can come up with technologies that are friendly for humanity. So that is a petition I just put out: friendly for humanity technology that benefits our health. But I do believe that that is also increasing, especially for our Indigenous communities and our people of color. And you see even the transformers in low income areas across our nation are what some people consider less desirable locations. And people are coming down with all of these illnesses as well. So, and the radiation also is poisoning our water. So our water is under major attack between the radiation, between the oil, and just all the contaminants that as human beings have been left because we haven't been walking like human beings. So the call to really re-educate and the prayers are so important, so we can be walking like human beings again. And even through our communities, bringing back the true healing from the trauma. And I think that that is really starting to happen now. I'm starting to see more elders speak on things from the boarding school stories and the assimilation process that was for so long just really not spoken on. A lot of those things are starting to come to surface, I think, in the re-education process, and releasing a lot of that trauma, where we can work on our healing as a core as we outreach to all of our nations. So anyway, that's just what was coming on my heart right now as I'm processing some things with some of the losses that we've had. And I just really feel very honored to be here on this panel with you right now, Avrol, and of course you, David. And that's really what I just wanted to share from my heart. And the call is so important for our nations coming together right now. And that's it.
Chief Orville, he dropped off for a little bit. He should be coming on back soon, Sherry.
Oh, I don't know. Did
Yeah, he dropped off a bit. Yeah, he should be back on soon. Maybe the Wi-Fi connection was weak.
Okay.
But going back into the importance of protecting sacred sites, which Chief Avrol Lookinghorse will touch on a little bit more, is that it's not only the Black Hills that are threatened. There are multiple, not only sacred sites. A lot of people don't understand what a sacred site is. A sacred site is a site that is deemed sacred by Indigenous people, that's used for prayer, for burial, for ceremonies, and other things. So that it's important that we protect the sacred sites, is because it also includes cultural sites and heritage sites. So those are all sacred sites. Is that from your understanding, Sherry?
I was listening to you. Yes, David. You have to excuse me. At the same time as you were speaking, I was trying to reach out to Orville to see
Okay.
if he was signing back on. So I did not mean to miss what you were asking me. I'm very, very sorry about that. I was working on this at the same time, seeing if he was signing, if he was signing back on. They might have had a little bit of difficulty there. So if you don't mind, please repeat what you just asked me, David, the end of what you just asked me.
So what is, the importance of protecting sacred sites? Why is it important? What is a sacred site from your traditions or your knowledge?
Oh, David. Well, I mean, we'll think of the word sacred. So sacred is already something that is, the definition of that is something that is something to be protected, something that is cared for as a people, as a culture. Hold on one second, David. I'm sorry. I think that I was getting I didn't know if that was, I didn't mean to be interrupted there. I was just trying to figure out with our connection what was going on. So anything that, a community and a culture from whatever tribe comes together with and has been holding sacred in their communities should be respected. And there's a reason that those communities consider those sites sacred. So coming from, a colonized perspective of, or somebody that may not understand it, or just say, not have the same walk with Mother Earth or the same stewardship in a good way with Mother Earth, they might come in a sense and look at it something, oh, well, that's just a piece of land, and this will make a great vacation destination or something, and have this mindset from not respecting other cultures, not respecting humanity, not taking the time to listen. And so anything that is considered by a community that needs to be protected for various reasons, from cultural beliefs to how Avrol was talking about the freedom of religion, to, just knowing the capacity of the damage that could happen with these sacred sites being destroyed, in protection of our water and of our land. And like I said, even prayer. So there's, that is what I would consider something that is unanimous between something that would be considered sacred, right? So you have things also with our archaeology department, our archaeologists also at the same time, through curiosity, want to unlock certain things, and actually don't realize the impact that some of the ways things are gone about can take on the people and the culture and the hurt and the pain. So by digging up ancestors and collecting their belongings, things that were even maybe considered sacred to them and their family, that were left with them in their cultural way. Things like that shouldn't be happening either. Our grave sites shouldn't be decimated. So it really expands to respect and respecting one another, and going back to what you love, David. How is it to start respecting and walking with each other in humanity, where people value what it is to protect our sacred sites and knowledges?
Yes, also not only sacred sites, also just to be aware, sacred sites, there's also sacred objects that have been taken from indigenous people worldwide, placed in museums or universities. Those are also sacred objects that need to be returned to the original people who had it. This is what we regard as theft for sacred objects that are sacred to us Indigenous people, also not only sacred sites, the sacred objects itself, right, Sherry?
Yes, that's exactly correct, David. It is. And that's exactly what I was speaking, referring to. So that's what you touched on, not just, there's many things that, like I was saying, through archaeology and, through curiosity or whatever that may be, but doesn't have the respect of the cultures and humanity and the meaning behind that. So, yes, David.
Would you like to give Avrol a call? I can talk about something else.
Yeah, I was
Call.
let's do that. I'm going to step away for a second, David, so I can
Yes.
try to work on that. Thank you.
Thank you. So just to be aware, today we're celebrating the One Nation gathering to bring 1,000 Indigenous nations together. We've been working with many groups from the eagle, the condor in Asia and Africa to bring all the Indigenous people together. And the reason why that we want to bring them together is because we don't have much time, because Mother Earth is in danger of peril. That means it's not meaning the Mother Earth itself, because Mother Earth can heal itself through time. So Mother Earth has all the time it takes. It could be 1,000,000 years. It can heal itself. That's damaged by humans. The issue is that humans might not be around or become ill or sick due to all the different destruction. Let's say, example, you destroy the air, the water, the oceans, and everything. Mother Earth cannot sustain life for everyone, but it can sustain life for fewer animals and human beings and so on. And it gets to a point where those people are ill. And sometimes, like example, what Sherry is talking about, radiation poisoning, is that there's a lot of companies doing uranium mining in the Navajo territory, in the Anishinaabe territory, and so many other territories. Uranium itself, it takes millions of years to decay, but once it gets into the water, it becomes toxic for human beings, and it also with not only combined with radiation poisoning, but with all the toxins that are in our water, that is being placed in the water, including arsenic, lead, PCBs, and all type of chemicals that are causing all type of illnesses across the world. And these illnesses turn out in different ways. And some people can say the coronavirus or COVID-19 is an accident or is manufactured, but it does. One good thing is that about the coronavirus is that it gave Mother Earth a chance to rest. That means that because we're operating, before the Earth was operating at 250% capacity. That means we're depleting or using the resources 250 times more than the Earth is able to replenish itself. Right now, during the lockdown and coronavirus, actually 70% of the industries around the world are shut down when the coronavirus hit, and only 30% were operating. But a lot of the times when the 30% is operating, that means it allows Mother Earth to heal. So that means a lot of the rivers that were polluted became clear. A good example is in the Venice, the canals are very polluted with toxins, and you can actually kind of see the bottom of the canal. But during the lockdown, it became clear, actually, the water, and the fishes start returning. Even dolphins starting swimming in the canal, and that's like that all over the world. Is because we're operating the Earth at 30% capacity versus 250% capacity. Right now, the world is trying to get back to normal. Normal means that they want to ramp up the production of the world of goods and services back to 250% to keep on depleting Mother Earth. And by us, Indigenous peoples, we believe that we need to protect our Mother Earth is a priority, because for the future generations, we need to not only protect Mother Earth, but we get to a point right now we need to restore her. That means to clean up all the toxins in the lakes, the rivers, to all the places that's been clear cut to be reforested, and also to clean up all the garbage that has been placed into the oceans, including uh, microplastics and plastic bottles, and now PPE, which is protective, um, personal protective equipment like masks and gloves, are falling into the oceans because there are people dumping it in. So that also causes a huge issue of pollution. So we do so to when we bring the 1,000 nations together from around the world, we're creating a new constitution for the 1,000 nations, and that constitution will be based on natural law. That means what it means is that we put Mother Earth at the center of the constitution, and we build the constitution around that. That means that when the 1,000 indigenous nations come together, their constitution will be the central theme of the constitution will be the protection of Mother Earth, including inside the constitution the Universal Declaration of Rights of Indigenous people, and also the Declaration of Rights of Mother Earth. So all these declarations will be transformed into a constitution that has teeth. That means it becomes law. How we're doing that is that we're doing it under Universal Contract Law, UCC, and that the contract becomes a law. Any contract between private parties, between two nations, becomes the law. So that's how we're creating the functioning of it. And Indigenous nations will be at the forefront of this. And of course, Chief Avrol Lookinghorse will speak on those things as soon as he comes back with Cheryl Lewis, one of the 3 peacemakers. And we later on during the show, right after this, we will have Myron Dewey from Digital Smoke Signals coming on. And here's Sherry, she's back.